I've applied to over 100 jobs on LinkedIn, and that's just LinkedIn alone.
The job market right now is...
I'm Caitlin, I'm a university graduate, and I applied to 647 roles before I got one.
Nobody will even give me an interview.
I basically am not able to get a job.
I really don't understand how people are finding full-time jobs. I really don't get it.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Little Thing Called Life. Today, we're diving into the harsh truth about Gen Z's job market and why so many graduates can't find work in 2025. This is definitely the toughest job market in decades, and we will touch on how AI is erasing the entry-level jobs for good and how recent graduates are going through a crisis that no one is solving. These are not outliers. This is the current reality of the entire cohort. 20 years ago, the grand path of life was a lot simpler. Go through school, graduate, go to university, get a degree, and waltz right into a job. A job in an industry where you'd spend the rest of your life. Simple. But explain that to your average 22-year-old and they'd laugh. But over the past years, things have changed even more. Job listings are dropping while job applications are rising. And the results, a full-blown unemployment and underemployed crisis for youth. It's leaving many young graduates navel-gazing.
Class of 2025, we need to talk. If you're a recent grad struggling to find a job, it's not just you, it's the numbers. Jobs have gone down, and the number of qualified applicants continues to rise. The 3-month moving average of the unemployment rate for recent grads currently sits at roughly 5.3%, well above the national average of 4.2%. This is a historic anomaly. This is likely the first time the number has ever been this high for new grads, ever. What this shows us is that entry-level jobs are being taken by AI now. It's happening.
Sadly, this is a worldwide trend. In Australia, graduate job postings keep falling year after year, while graduates pour out of universities like a factory. In the UK, university graduates are facing the toughest job market since 2018. More than half of college graduates are considering unemployable. China had a youth unemployment rate of 17%. And in the US, recent grads are now more likely to be unemployed than the general workforce. All of this absolutely is devastating for those who have worked so hard to secure their future, only to feel like they've been lied to. So in this episode, we're gonna go into what is causing it and how long will it last. To help with clarity and understanding, I've split this episode into 3 sections. Number 1 is AI really taking entry-level jobs. Number 2, how trade tariffs actually hit the job market and relate. And number 3, the post-pandemic job market slowdown. If you're a student or recent grad, stay tuned. We'll talk about what can be done in this situation and what might still be worth studying to crack a job market that is open for opportunities. So let's take a look at the unemployment crisis with young graduates. It would be a stretch. The scariest part is a future where AI is causing potential job loss. Since the Industrial Revolution, humans have always worried that technology would steal their jobs. This traces back to the 19th century when textile workers would smash mechanized looms and set mills ablaze. Every major tech or automotive wave has come with a wave of anxiety over what those inventions might do to us. But somehow it's always worked out in the end. For example, the invention of the horseless carriage killed a ton of jobs, but created thousands of new jobs in making, selling, and servicing automobiles. Today, you hear economists and of course tech giant CEOs singing a similar tune when it comes to AI. But the difference here is that although AI may just be a tool, it is different from any tool that has come before it. It's literally the first tool humans have invented that achieves general cognitive behavior. And if you've been keeping up with ChatGPT and its trends, now that we're at ChatGPT 5.0, it's pretty much like having a friend who has a master doctorate degree. And people are now starting to realize what that means. Meet Andrew Cole. He recently posted a semi-viral video about how 3 of his skill sets have been replaced by AI 3 separate times. I'm gonna play a portion of that for you now. Listen closely to what he's saying, especially as it will fit in perfectly into the context of the rest of this episode.
AI has ruined my life. Now, I know that might sound dramatic, but let me tell you why. I've always loved creative endeavors and projects. And I worked for a YouTube channel as a writer. To this day, the script I wrote for a series, it really took off. It got 3 million views. We made a second video, and that became the second most viewed video on the channel. He fired me. This guy then used AI based on the scripts I already wrote to make more lower quality videos, keeping the same series going. He's gotten millions of views ever since. So then I thought, well, publishing books on Amazon, because it looks like I have a knack for writing. These gurus on YouTube got rich from searching keywords and generating a book, using AI to write books. I just simply can't compete. I can't write that fast. I'm not here to complain, right? But it's just dawning on me that I can't compete with this AI, dude. And that's the problem that has basically been messing me up for 3 years. I've been trying to run for the last 3 years from the mass acquisition of skills, lowering the bars for skill sets to the point where your skill set suddenly becomes useless. And AI has been central to doing that to me. I wonder if anyone else feels like they can't escape their skill set being completely devalued by whatever new AI technology comes out next.
After listening to Andrew's story, you can't help but feel for him. Some might say Andrew's story is just what always happens when humanity progresses. Gen Z is just going to have to adapt to AI. But the flip side, what's happening to Andrew now might happen to a large portion of us in 5 years, myself included. As an example, to produce an episode of Little Thing Called Life episode, there's so much that goes into the behind the scenes that no one will care about or ever see. And when the video finally gets posted, there's always a flood of comments saying why I don't just create an avatar of myself and do AI videos like everyone else is doing. I personally don't like seeing AI videos that I can tell are AI. I just feel like there's a human connection when you actually listen or are subscribe to a YouTube channel that's still a human, and I already see it enough in YouTube shorts and other mediums, so I personally don't want to create any of that content. But we will see what happens. I wanted to highlight Andrew's story because it's the reality of our time and it's worth thinking about and discussing. However, it is uncomfortable. So to answer the first question at the start of this episode, yes, AI is taking graduate jobs. Back in 2023, Goldman Sachs predicted that AI would wipe out 300 million jobs. Just 2 years later, we see some evidence of that. From low-skilled jobs to admin roles, creative jobs, white-collar jobs, and even a degree of heavy jobs. Now AI can do some of that stuff, and we all know it's with varying degrees of success. For example, a recent report found that 55% of companies regret replacing their workers with AI, but it would be naive to think that AI's capability will stay the same forever, as it's truly going too fast. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei warns that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in just the next 5 years, and there are signs of that too. One Oxford economist study found an unusually high unemployment rate among graduates in the technical fields where AI has made faster gains, industries like computer science and finance. Some tech companies aren't even bothering to hire junior developers anymore, just mid-level and up. Others are racing to build virtual workers that can replace junior employees. When the day comes where AI can code reliably without human expertise for bug fixes, what do you think corporations are going to do about junior employees?
Everybody who sits on a stage like this would tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. This is the miracle. This is the miracle of artificial intelligence. For the very first time, we have closed the gap, the technology divide. has been completely closed.
A lot of the things that I've seen with AI, you still need a man in the middle, and I feel that that's where we are today. As it stands, AI makes plenty of mistakes and can't be trusted at face value. So human supervision is still necessary for many jobs, but just like anything else, that could change at any moment. Very soon, one human supervisor plus AI could replace 10 workers in certain fields. But when we also look at this more positively, given the skills and drive that future AI systems will also enable one person to start their own company when they couldn't before. And that can be good news for lost graduates. But back to AI supervision in the corporate context. In Europe, human supervision for high-risk AI systems is written into law, but many other countries like Australia and the US, they don't yet have guardrails like that in place, which leads me to wonder, what is next? University degrees in AI supervision? It sounds far-fetched, but anything is possible. The most obvious solutions ideally is if you're heading into university or heading back to choose your lane carefully. Even though AI is still in its early stages and still sucking its thumb, it's going to improve. So seriously consider upskilling in AI. But that being said, let me offer another point of view. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. There's a small chance that we could be seeing a repeat of the dot-com bubble. In other words, a small chance that the current AI systems we have now are reaching a limit where not yet aware of. Basically, we're overestimating their future potential. As Google and Facebook came from the ashes of the dot-com crash, so will the next generation of AI systems. There might be a lull or a pause for a few years where people realize AI isn't as good as promised, but then we'll see a second wave of AI progress. So some jobs may be safer than we think, at least for the time being. However, if that's not the case and AI keeps improving as rapidly as it has been, the advice would be, if you can't beat them, join them. According to Corey Kantinger, head of economist at LinkedIn, quote, employers may not have figured out what they're going to do with AI, but they want to bring in people who are likely to work with it in the future in order to set them up for success. End quote. There's no harm in having that feather in your cap. For those who've just graduated, things could take a little while to settle, but don't freak out. It's not the end of the world. In the end of the video, I will recommend a few things that potentially might help you in your situation. It's not unusual for people to change careers. Even for me, I used to be a sales engineer working at Dell, but found my fulfillment in sales enablement, being able to partner up with sales to best utilize what marketing puts out. So by all means, continue to look for a job. Don't be afraid to start a side hustle or a business if you have that passion. It's scary, but sometimes you need to lean into that scary. And to tell you the truth, there are more tools out there that can help you get to certain places than ever before at a pace that you never thought you could get to. Interestingly enough, some people have taken that advantage of this new landscape. Take 21-year-old Roy Lee. He was expelled from Columbia University. Why? He built an undetectable AI tool that could do exams and interviews for him. His tool became popular with the university. After he was kicked out, he funded a startup and raised millions of dollars in funding within weeks.
His app works by taking screenshots of a problem in real time, then runs them through a large language model that generates a realistic path for humans to pretend like they're actually solving the problem. It runs as an undetectable overlay for screen sharing software and also moves the window around the screen so your eyes don't focus on the cheating material. And these techniques bypass software used by the interviewers to detect cheating. It actually works, and he got offers from FAANG companies like Meta and Amazon. And it's poetic that the very companies who have publicly stated that their goal is to automate software development with AI still need to hire humans and are having their interview process totally ruined by AI. Amazon doesn't like poetry though, and when they found out that Roy cheated, they snitched on him to Columbia and demanded that proper action be taken. Well, based on this confidential do not distribute letter that Roy posted on Twitter, he's been kicked out of Columbia, and Roy is on the right track to become a tech bro billionaire. His app is already on track to do over $2 million in revenue this year.
One solution for young professionals is to branch out on their own through entrepreneurship. In 2023, people aged 18 to 24 were starting businesses at higher rates than other age groups, making them the fastest growing cohort of entrepreneurs in the US. Young entrepreneurship is near record-breaking numbers, but running a business is no small feat. So where on earth do you start? This is where today's sponsor comes in, Loudon Systems. Loudon Systems knows that today's B2B buyers want answers fast, often before they even talk to sales. That's why they help new and growing businesses create beautiful, professional, interactive video content that speaks directly to their audience. They create content for their website, their LinkedIn page, to their social media channels, and their self-service videos they create will empower your buyers to quickly self-service with confidence, turning interest into action and conversations into customers. We live in an age where, unfortunately, people want to buy directly from a website, a video. They don't want to speak to a salesperson. And Loudon System keeps it clear, keeps it human, and helps you empower your buyers. See the link in the description below to speak to a specialist today to get your business, social media page, or personal YouTube channel running. Now back to the show. For many of us, this is the first time that we've been such a red hot topic. Whether they hurt or help the economy overall is a story of another day. But in the job market, one thing is certain: when companies get nervous, they simply just stop hiring.
It's a tough time to look for work. And if you're a recent college graduate, it's even more daunting. In 2025, companies are less likely to hire and employees are less likely to quit or retire, leaving less opportunity at the bottom of the career ladder. AI is threatening to replace entry-level work in fields like tech, and law school applications are ballooning beyond what the industry can sustain. President Donald Trump's cost-cutting efforts have wiped out jobs in government agencies, nonprofits, and public health. It all leaves young people, who spent their teen and university years preparing for the future, barreling toward a career cliff.
According to Brett Ryan, an economist at Deutsche Bank, uncertainty around trade and tariffs has led to a low hiring but low firing environment. So while companies aren't panicking, they're also not bringing in new talent. In essence, it's an employment freeze. You think it would make sense to hire college grads since they're young, educated, and more affordable to hire, but that's not exactly true. Harvard economist David Deming explained that young workers are seen like investments, like capital. And in uncertain times like we're in today, those investments are the first things that businesses cut back on. LinkedIn's chief economist Karen Kimbrough adds that companies aren't looking to hire entry-level workers, as they quote unquote often take longer to learn the job. And unfortunately, the numbers back it up. According to some measures, that US employment is low right now. It's currently hovering around 4% as of making of this video, but that statistic kind of covers up a real crisis for young graduates, for college graduates, because that unemployment sits at 6.6 for, again, unemployment for young graduates. The highest in a decade, excluding the pandemic. It's the first time that graduate unemployment rate is higher than the general unemployment rate. That to me should be telling you something. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, in the US, hiring has actually slowed down to its worst pace in 10 years, and job cuts are up 47% year over year. Even MBA graduates from elite schools like Wharton and Stanford are struggling to land jobs, while over in Australia, much face a 10% tariff from exports to the US. Our small but open economy makes us truly sensitive to these shifts. In global activity, which shows up in the job market, even though on paper unemployment has stated at a record low of 4.1% as the making of this video, the economy actually lost 2,500 jobs instead of gaining an expected 20,000. Which, according to the Wall Street Journal, is proof of, quote, businesses are growing concerned about the hazardous nature of US trade policies, end quote. While it's still too early to pinpoint exactly what's killing off graduate jobs, so far, these two reasons make a lot of sense. Entry-level tasks are the ones that generative AI can do best, and at least in a limited capacity at first. Think basic analysis, emails, and research. So in a nutshell, if you really think about it, graduates are being hit twice. And the jobs that AI can't do, that we need human people for, those jobs are being frozen by the economic uncertainty relating to tariffs. All of this isn't to mention that ghost job postings are on the rise, where companies post fake, already filled positions as opened. This is usually to give the appearance of boosted performance, to get data on candidates, or for stranger reasons, according to courts. More than than 60% of companies surveyed say that they post fake jobs to, quote, make employees believe that their workload will be alleviated by new workers, end quote. And 62% of the companies do it to, quote, have employees feel replaceable. Crazy.
Many people are frustrated by applying to these kinds of jobs that seem to have no intention of hiring anyone.
If you are in the position of trying to find a new job, of course you don't want to waste your time applying for these ghost jobs.
But it turns out all those open job postings that you see online might not even be real.
We will get to what you guys are saying about this job market at the end of the video, but for now, let's move on to the third reason young graduates struggle. The worst of the pandemic might be behind us, but there's no denying it that work has changed forever, and now things are reverting back again. Remote jobs could have been the great equalizer, opening opportunities to anyone, anywhere, and for a brief moment, they were. Now that the remote work boom is over, workers don't want to let it go. Only 1 in 5 LinkedIn jobs are remote or hybrid, yet they get 60% of all the applications. During the Great Resignation, many left their jobs chasing more money and fulfillment, a hallmark of a healthy job market. That cleared the way for new workers to move in and move up. Also, taking in the US as an example, job hopping isn't paying off like it used to. In 2023, people who switched jobs were able to secure a 7.7 pay raise, and those who stayed got a 5.5 pay raise. Now in 2025, that has flipped, and workers who stay get a 4.6% raise, while job switchers only made a measly 0.2%. Customer success specialist Josh Fogel told the Wall Street Journal that after being laid off from a $170,000 job plus bonuses, he accepted a new role paying $120K because, quote, no one is paying like they used to. If you don't like it, there's 50 people behind you they're going to call afterwards, end quote. In essence, what we're seeing kind of feels like the return of the baby boom era of workplace loyalty, or at least a subtle echo of it. Between economists' anxiety about AI and the global trade instability, I feel it's no wonder that so many workers are choosing to hang on to what they have, or just waiting for the company to unfortunately kill their department or their role. Fewer people are quitting means that fewer backfill opportunities, and this can kind of clog the entry-level ladder and create a domino effect. So we all get it by now. There are real problems, but we need real solutions. So what are they? Let's take a look. According to one study, here are the sectors safest from AI. Jobs like pile driver operators, rail track layers, water treatment plants, dredge operators will have you sleeping very well at night. But writers, sales reps, historians, or translators, not so much. So where can grads turn to now? Accounting? Well, in the future, AI could threaten to take that over. Nursing and healthcare? Yes, that is AI proof and should be safe. Furthermore, not that many people want to do those jobs, as those industries face a lot of burnout and low pay. What about computer science? Well, AI is shaking those things up, definitely doing the very basics for now, but companies are quick to jump into using AI, and those jobs are still being replaced. Graphic design, the arts, journalism, copywriting, animation, those fields are now too risky to even think about or take serious anymore. Education is a bright spot, but again, burnout and pay issues, civil, mechanical, electrical, or oil, gas engineering, they seem okay for now, but that doesn't have a whole lot of choice. Bluntly, the safest sectors are the ones that involve physical work or face-to-face human interaction. So what's to be done? Many Gen Zers are turning away from the university and actually finding their own path in blue-collared work. It's an interesting development.
Historic drop at U.S. college enrollment. U.S. college freshman enrollment is on the decline.
Many schools have seen those enrollment declines already. And jobs that traditionally require college degrees are no longer as reliable as they once were. Gen Z, the youngest generation in the workforce, are saying no to the college experience. Instead, they're entering blue-collar jobs in skilled trades that don't require a 4-year degree.
They're gaining skills that allow them to then go out and start their own business. And that really allows them the opportunity to set their earning potential as they go forward.
And as older blue-collar workers begin to retire, it may be that Gen Z rises to fill the skilled labor gap.
According to Jeffrey Hinton, aka the godfather of AI, AI will replace paralegals and call center jobs. But for a truly AI resistant job, I feel that the young generation of today should consider being a plumber or any kind of trade that requires hands-on skills and judgment. In fact,
what would you be saying to people about their career prospects in a world of superintelligence? What should we be thinking about?
In the meantime, I'd say it's going to be a long time before it's as good at physical manipulation as us.
Okay.
And so a good bet would be to be a plumber.
tradespeople might now have the upper hand, especially as the value of university degrees drops. Now they're in a strange loop as students rely on AI to get degrees, and they need those degrees to get jobs, but those jobs might not exist in a few years due to the AI that they're using. So what are we really doing here? As time progresses, real value-added work in the physical world will increase in importance, well, until the robots come. Robots are stealing jobs faster than ever expected. 8 major industries have proven that human workers are being obsolete. Waymo's autonomous taxis now do 200,000 paid rides per week with 0 human drivers. Amazon deployed 750,000 warehouse robots that sort packages faster and more accurately than any human. In China, robotic gas station attendants refuel cars. Robot chefs trained on 5 million recipes cook restaurant quality meals with perfect precision. Boston Dynamic robots operate professional film cameras, performing backflips while filming, replacing human camera operators. Most terrifying, robots now repair high voltage power lines. They never get electrocuted, they never fall, and they never ask for overtime pay. These aren't prototypes, they are real, and this is working right now, earning money for companies while humans get laid off. To add to this, while degree holders still earn more money, the quote, university wage premium, that is the earning gap between graduates and non-graduates, is shrinking in America, Britain, and Canada. To give you an idea of just how much things have changed since the good old days, only 22% of US adults say that college degree is worth the cost. After all, it's one of the most expensive purchases most Americans will ever make.
Millions of Americans have one thing in common: a crippling amount of student debt.
As for Australia, the number of degree holders in low-paying jobs are actually on the rise. Meanwhile, in China, there are so many graduates that the job market has collapsed. After all, if the whole entire job pool is full of qualified standouts, then no one truly is standing out.
These entrepreneurs are racking up thousands of followers online for their unusual proposals.
Here in my company, we pretend to work. There is no activity. You're unemployed, so come to me and do what you want.
In the heart of the business district in the Chinese city Chongqing lies a fake company.
This is the reception area, but there's nobody there.
Here about 15 people pretend they're working.
This is an office with a nice view, but we only use it to play video games and take naps.
In actual fact, these fake employees are jobless.
I take photos of my work environment. My family always asks me what I do. I can give them proof.
This is a bogus business registration certificate she will later show her parents. A growing number of young people in China say they are seeking these companies in order to avoid judgment from others.
The job market is not good, and when you have a real job, you often have to work overtime.
China's youth unemployment jumped to 17% last year, but experts say that figure could be much higher.
I'm always a glass half full kind of guy, so I would like to end on a more positive note. If you don't want to study a trade and you don't feel like getting into nursing or any kind of engineering, computer science, maybe, just maybe, if you use AI ethically, starting your own business might be the way to go. There are more AI tools than ever before. I've personally tried over 100 tools, and I have picked the top AI tools that can help you start your next venture, and I'll link that video in the corner here of the video. I know it's crazy, but leaning into the positive side of things, what I personally love about where AI has taken us is that these AI tools are able to combine both human creativity in order to do remarkable things we never thought would be possible until now. The bottom line is that the world that we live in now and the world in the future will look very different as AI continues to exponentially change our world. Again, the good side is you still have options. If you're young, you still have the most valuable resource of all, which is your time. If you're organized and channel that time into a focused business that solves real world problems by scaling it and potentially doing it faster by using today's AI tools that are available now, you can truly get ahead. And most importantly, do something positive while we navigate this tough job market. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Little Thing Called Life with Gus. If you're a recent graduate or transitioning from retail into the corporate world, or maybe you're in high school and you're thinking about what exactly to study in college, maybe I can be of help and would love to assist, and I will leave my personal email down below. As my friends always hear me say, in the hands of many, the work is light. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.